We work with alcoholics, we work with heroin addicts, we work with cocaine addicts, we work with methamphetamine addicts, we work with opiate pill addicts, we work with addicts that are addicted to downer type pills, marijuana addicts. We work with a wide variety of addictions. My understanding right now is that 75 to 95% of the people entering treatment suffer from some degree of brain dysfunction, directly connected to using drugs and the lifestyle that goes with it, because a lot of drug addicts, if they're using, they're not eating right, they're not sleeping right, and all of that has an effect on the central nervous system. I first heard about neurofeedback in late 1995, I believe, and because I've been working in the field of addiction for a very long time, I'm used to new therapies coming and going, as being the therapy, and when I was approached about it, I thought, oh boy, here we go again. We also at that time had hired someone because we were getting ready to do a study. So someone came on board to introduce us to alpha theta training, and I had to experience the training first myself, and I started going through that process and began to see, hey, this stuff really does work. I can see that this is really a very useful tool, because what it does, the first thing I noticed that really had an effect on me was the fact that the people who were getting neurofeedback stayed in treatment longer than the people who didn't. And every study I've ever looked at in terms of treating the drug addict indicates the longer you can keep them in treatment, the better the results are. So that was the first thing I noticed when we did the study, that the people in the experimental group that were receiving neurofeedback were staying in treatment twice as long as the people who were in the control group. And that in itself, I thought, wow, if it just does that, it's doing something really valuable. I also noticed that when people are doing alpha theta, they're more open to other therapies that are going on within the treatment center. They seem to be more open to step study. They seem to be more open when they're in a group therapy. It kind of opens them up a little bit to getting some of this information. So that's the other another aspect of the therapy that I think is very valuable as far as recovering addicts go. The outcome of the studies indicated to us that this was a very valuable tool that we need to keep and use, because after a year and a half, we were tracking both groups, and 72%, I believe, of the people that received biofeedback were still drug-free after a year and a half, as opposed to 35% of the control group who hadn't received this therapy. I believe that neurofeedback is the beginning of the future of therapy.